Welcome to the ISP show y bienvenidos a este programa.
Wow.
Guys, that's a little bit of foreshadowing because today we are talking about the CONMEBOL region, which of course houses many teams. And today, Roy, are we going to talk about your Argentina? We are not.
I'll find a way to sneak them into the conversation.
We are not, because there were two other teams that had fantastic matches this, what do we call it? We call it the international window. It was just a great week.
It's called International Break. That's the name.
International Break.
What do you mean? What do we call it?
Called the International Break. But I wanted to make, this is much more than just a break for these teams. And the two teams, of course, are Paraguay and Ecuador. So we are starting first with Paraguay. And Roy, your team got beat by these boys. What do you got to say?
They sure did, man. And I think that was more a sign of Paraguay being much better, much more intense, much more passionate, much more ready to qualify for this World Cup than it's anything to say about Argentina. Listen, this right now is a one-team region. There's one team who has an elite level, and then on the second tier, you have teams like Colombia, you have Ecuador, you have Uruguay, etc. But what's changing in this region is that second tier is getting shuffled. Brazil, I don't even know if I want to include them in the second tier anymore. Chile's not in the second tier anymore. Peru has been in and out of the second tier over the past decade. They're way the heck. They'll lose in CONCACAF region, man. But this Paraguay team looks incredible, Rocky. They're looking incredible, and no one expected it.
Yeah, and they have an Argentinian coach. Mm-hmm. New coach, and this guy is undefeated, man. I mean, it's incredible the form they've been in since August, right? I mean, what they've done, impressive victories. And this is then, you couple this Argentina win with something that maybe is even more difficult, Roy, than beating Argentina. It's not losing to Bolivia in El Alto.
That was crazy.
Casi imposible. But they did it.
Incredible match too. Like, you know, just the back and forth in that match. And then for Enciso, man, what a player this guy's turned into, huh, Roy? Like, what this guy, man, unbelievable.
And Enciso's incredible, man. And this is the crazy thing. This team reminds me of 2018. Can you guess which team it reminds me of? There's a hint on camera right now.
Peru.
2018 Peru. That's what this Paraguay team reminds me of. In Peru, you had Guerrero playing like a Guerrero. You had Advíncula playing balls out. Cueva, Edison Flores looking like Messi. Yotun holding down the middle. This is a very similar team in that you don't have massive names. Your superstars are Almirón.
Miguel Almirón, come on, man.
Almirón, but listen, it's Almirón. He's not like a world caliber, world killer. He's not a world-class player necessarily. He's a very good player, though. You have Enciso.
He has a bit of the James thing where he plays better, I believe, for Paraguay than he does, you know, at the club level.
He had a fabulous goal. He had a fabulous goal, you know, the other day.
But incredible goal. But they have an interesting group of players who are firing on all cylinders, who are willing to die for their shirt. An example, they have two MLS midfielders. Everyone complains about MLS until you got MLS players killing it on your roster. They have Diego Gomez from Miami, who doesn't play well for Miami. But for Paraguay, when he puts on those red and white stripes, he is a freaking killer, man. He's an incredible, very important piece to this Paraguay team's success. And then Andres Cubas, Vancouver Whitecaps midfielder. It's just very random. He's not even like a top 10 midfielder in MLS. For Paraguay, he's killing it. He's doing great work. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, Rahi, look, like we were big fans of that Paraguay team way back when Chilaver was in goal and they had the four in the back, which were all basically monsters in the back. This ain't that team. This is very different team.
It's a different team. That was a fun team, right? That was the 98 team that unfortunately lost on that golden goal against France. Incredible team. Yeah. This, my friends, is a team that looks like they figured out how to play together, Roy. That's the biggest thing, right? Suddenly, and this is as you pointed out, the second tier is very congested. And there's opportunity. You just have to win a few games. Everyone's dropping points, right? Colombia, who you talked about, we'll talk about in a second. They dropped points against Ecuador, right? So there's all this movement and shifting. that's going on between these teams. This is a Paraguay team that now has beaten Argentina. And by the way, how do they do against Brazil? These are big results.
Yeah.
Right?
I think what's
results
motivating these teams to step it up, because it seems like they're being fueled by this Ted Lasso belief thing. And it's not about the talent on the field necessarily. They're being fueled by something else, a different motivation. And I think it's the expanded World Cup effect. It's the idea that 6 teams can make it now.
Yeah.
And Paraguay is now one of those 6 teams.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But let's get to the other team you guys mentioned, Ecuador. If there's anyone who had even a better international break than Paraguay, it's potentially Ecuador, that went out, dominated Bolivia, and then came out, and this was an incredible result to go down a man and win in Colombia. And I want to point out one thing about these guys, man. Enner Valencia, what the heck did he eat this last international break, dude? That fool was like a Maradona, Messi combined this week. He was incredible.
How old is he? How old is he, man? Because I feel like he's been there since I was born. I feel like I've been watching.
He was 35, right? 35.
The year I was born, yeah.
35.
1999.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. I mean, he's been the talisman for so long. Scores big goal after big goal, and you sometimes worry that they depend on him so much. It's sort of, you worry that they haven't found anyone to replace him. But then when you see what he does for them, why do you need to? Right? He has a Guerrero-like impact that, as Guerrero had hasn't technically for Peru. It's the same thing. And this team, though, what they did against Colombia is massively impressive. It was the most impressive result of any team in South America, this region, to go down a man, Roy, that early in the game. Yes, you're up a goal, but to defend like that with your life, man, that's very difficult to do away from home too.
It's not just the most impressive victory in South America. It's the most impressive victory in world soccer. There isn't a situation I could think of, unless you guys could think of, where the underdog went to play away, loses a man early in the first half, and goes on to keep a clean sheet and win. Like, that's almost unheard of. There's probably some moments in history where something like this has happened, but it's extremely rare. And we got to witness it just a couple weeks ago in our part of the world. It's incredible what they pulled off. And I want to give major credit. And we're talking about Paraguay. We're talking about Ecuador. We're talking about Argentina. What do they all have in common? I don't want to be...
El portero. El portero
is not what? It's el entrenador.
Argentinian manager. I knew you were going to go there.
I was going to say
Argentina back.
You gotta give credit to Galindez. I just want to say he stood on his head that match, guys. But okay, continue.
He did. But Argentinian managers, and this one in particular, Becasese, has been fantastic for Ecuador. The moment it was being rumored that he would get the job, the moment he got the job, the first thing he said is, I see incredible potential with this region, with this country. I see tremendous talent, and I see a path, and I'm going to try to work to create this path. And I see it being a short-term versus a long-term project to make it more like a Morocco, like a Japan, to unearth the talent, to get the talent playing together, to get the talent in the right positions. And it's looking like he's doing that a lot sooner than anyone expected, because this Ecuador team looks like the kind of team that can make a World Cup semifinal. They're looking really good.
Where was he in Spain before? Elche, I believe. I think he was coaching in Spain. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a huge personality, dude. He's a crazy guy. He sprints. He's kind of like Mourinho in certain ways, where he sprints up and down the sidelines. He sprints into the tunnel. He does flips. He's a crazy man, and that's what I feel Ecuador needed. They needed a huge personality who believed in them. And that's who they got. And look what they're doing, man. That is pure cojones to go to Colombia and pull out a clean sheet and get a goal by a 35-year-old Valencia. It's a fairy tale.
That was a golazo. That was a golazo, by the way. It was an incredible goal. A one-man show, yeah.
But I'm saying, let's not pretend this team hasn't been talented for a while and we haven't expected this, right? Yeah. Think about the World Cup performance. Effectively, a weird half away from making it to the next round. I mean, they looked so impressive at times. Should have been the Netherlands, I thought. I mean, there's so many games that you look back at and you think they were the better team. They should have gotten out of the group. They should have probably won that group.
Yeah.
And they have talent across the board, right? Defensive.
And then remember the
defensive
Jordi Caicedo, they were one Jordi Caicedo header away from eliminating Argentina in the Copa America. Remember that? The last minute blank
Yeah, but they
chance.
weren't
Yeah.
good
Yeah, I
at
mean,
Copa America.
that
But
was
again,
a strange game.
that was a
Terrible
little bit of an
Mexico
anomaly.
side.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
that game they didn't play well for most of the game. Then they get
Yeah.
the late goal, and then they're nearly there to
Yeah.
win it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So I'm gonna put everyone on the spot now as we finish up this video. The real question is, will Paraguay and Ecuador make the World Cup? Guys, who's going first?
Both. The question is both.
Yes.
Oof.
Remember,
That
seven. Remember, 6 slots get in. 7 goes to the the playoff.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, Ecuador, I think, is definitely making the World Cup. So that's a certainty for me. Especially they sit third now, I believe.
Yep.
I think they're gonna make it for sure, right? Paraguay, I think, will probably slot into that playoff spot, and then I think the answer is yes, they probably do make the World Cup. So my answer is I think both of them do make it. Remember the expanded field. Remember that the playoff will be likely an easier game for them. So I think yes, I think they both get in.
Yeah.
I think remind me, the 6th place is not a playoff, is it?
It's not. The 6th place where Paraguay sits right now is not a playoff. Bolivia is in 7th right now. So basically,
that
you're
said-
looking at Chile, Peru, and Venezuela.
Yeah.
Are any of them gonna bump them up?
For me, the only team that, I mean, Bolivia not winning that home game probably destroyed their chances. I think that was the difference maker that's going to doom Bolivia to a 7th or lower position.
7th doesn't make. There's no playoff for the 7th.
7th, there's a playoff.
Yeah,
7th,
okay,
there's a playoff slot. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think you get
The playoff is going to go, I think, to Venezuela. I think they're playing well. They're not playing great, but they're playing well enough. Chile also had an incredible performance in this window as well. So against Venezuela, actually. So I think Bolivia drops. I think Venezuela or Chile get one of the playoff spots. And Paraguay's four points ahead in 6. So I think they're going to really have to stumble to lose that. And they're going to have to stumble to a team that doesn't look ready to rise up. That's Bolivia, Venezuela, Chile. I don't think Peru is just so sad, man. Oh, Peru. I miss Peru, man.
Well, the strange thing is now these teams don't play until when? March. Is it?
Yes,
March. Right, you got a long time.
You have a team like Paraguay who's on an incredible run since August, and all
They
the
can lose
momentum,
that.
some of that disappears, right? So then it's like I mean, they still have an incredible manager. They've understood how to play together, but it's hard because now March is a completely different story.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, but I'm putting you both on the spot because you guys said both are going to make it. So let's see if that finishes up the way that you guys said. So yeah, so we'll see. And for all the Paraguayan fans and Ecuadorian fans, let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel, guys, and always keep watching the beautiful game. Vamos fútbol y vamos CONMEBOL.
Man, if Bolivia played every game at home, they'd be World Cup champions.